Hello, everyone,
I'm Melina,
and I'm Aditi. Welcome to an episode of
yakking about Bojack.
Yes, welcome to episode 7. We're breaking down Say Anything. Melina,
Yeah.
what did you think of this episode?
This episode was Princess Carolyn's time to shine. We had our episodes with Bojack, with Todd, with Diane, and now Princess Carolyn gets her amazing. We get to see so much of her and what she is capable of in this episode.
Yes, I think we've seen hints of it, but I think we really got to see a showcase of just how strong and just this unstoppable force that Princess Carolyn can really be.
Which I'm assuming will probably play a large role. I'm hoping will continue being a large role later on.
Yeah,
But
we'll see. We'll see. I definitely do like all the episodes that are tributes to Princess Carolyn. I absolutely love her. We can always talk more about this. Before we get off track, let me do the summary and the intro. So this episode came out August 22nd, 2014, just like all of season 1's 12 episodes. It has a lot of our existing characters in this. So we get to see Bojack, Todd, Princess Carolyn, Mr. Peanut Butter, notably missing. We did see a little bit of Diane, Herb, on the phone at least. Vanessa Gecko returns, and Lenny Turtletop also returns. I guess this is our first physical appearance of Vanessa Gecko, though.
Oh, wait, wait, they talked about her before? I don't not
Yeah, do you remember
remember.
the Andrew Garfield and Sarah Lynn stuff?
Oh, everything connects.
Oh my
Oh
god,
my
yes. It's that
gosh.
little they planted the seed early.
Wow.
Mhm.
But I also feel like if I was a new viewer, I would not have remembered. Well, I
No.
don't know if they like released everything like in the same time or if it was like weekly releases, but I would definitely
No,
not have
this was all at
remembered.
the same time, right? It's a
Oh.
Netflix show. They dumped all of season 1 at the same time. But I definitely agree with you, Melina, where as I rewatch this show, even though I've seen it, I do notice things a little bit more. Like this show has really good rewatch, and I think
Mhm.
they've really written it so well. So I don't want to give all the praise, but I feel like BoJack Horseman does deserve it. It's very well written, and there's a lot of like little Easter eggs layered on top.
I guess that's why people still talk about it even now.
Yeah. It actually just recently had season 6, so it's still relevant, but people still talk about it 'cause it's so well written. Before we get ahead of ourselves, let's first drop this summary and then get into this episode. Clearly, we have a lot to talk about.
Oh yeah, yes you do.
So this episode, we follow Princess Carolyn's crazy days as she picks up the pieces of Bojack's career after his latest bender, because the news of Diane and Mr. Peanut Butter's engagement is out. PC struggles to find success in her career amidst a company merger, her rival agent stealing her clients, losing her assistants, and basically all of her support, all while Bojack's actions cause her career to spiral more and more. And this all happens on her birthday.
That was sad. I feel
Yeah,
like
that reveal at the end, and she was alone. That really hit. There's a part of adult birthdays that can be really sad. Not just
mhm.
sad, but just like when you're a kid, they're so exciting and so much fun. And I think as you get older, they can become really
Mhm.
less pleasant.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're not close at that age. Do do adults celebrate their birthdays?
So, Melina, we still celebrate our birthdays. And I know people our age who do not celebrate their birthdays.
Ah.
And I'm really glad that on our friend group, we still do that. And I actively
Mhm.
force people as adults to still do, it doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be a party, but do something special for yourself that day. And it can manifest in so many different ways. Like, taking the time to do some self-care, taking
Mhm.
some time to, treat yourself. I think one time I ate a small mini petit gâteau from like Second Cup, and then I read
Mhm.
a book in a park, and I walked back home, and I dressed up really nicely. And it was like
Hmm.
maybe like an hour or two that I did that, and it was just nice to sort of remind myself, have some fun, and I think it's good. Like, it didn't have to be that, Princess Carolyn obviously has a very busy career, and you don't have to take a day off work for your birthday. But I think we often forget to celebrate ourselves and the fact that we're still pushing forward.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of adults who do that. And I think that when you can celebrate with your friends, as we often do, it's even better. Um,
Mhm.
the pandemic definitely made that harder.
Yeah, but there's always ways. I think there's a lot of like online like party like and game things now because of the pandemic for our birthdays
Yes.
and such.
Yes. Yeah.
But Princess Carolyn did not have to worry about that because she had other things to worry about on her birthday.
Yeah. A lot of things to worry about on her birthday. What did you think of her and, like, Bojack's, like, pep talk in the beginning? Or actually all of PC's pep talks?
She's very, I guess, positive in her pep talks. Like she's
Yes.
always telling people, like even with her, she gave Bojack and she gave Todd a similar talk too.
Yes. It
Like,
Todd's was cut short a little bit. He got an abridged version, but, I think she's kinda phoning it in with Todd in general.
yeah, but she's basically like, you know, you got your stuff together, you can do it, believe in yourself kind of message.
Yes.
Like, I've got you, like, woot woot kind of thing, which I think is good because I feel that everyone needs something like that. Like,
Yeah. You need someone
yeah.
rooting for you in your corner.
Mhm.
Like, you need someone
Mhm.
as a strong support, and, sometimes, your agent has to play such a big role in a industry, I assume, in which I'm assuming that, like, definitely, like, Todd feels this and Bojack feels this, and a lot of the characters on the show feel like they are sort of alone,
Mm.
and sort of Princess Carolyn kinda acts like their supportive family in some ways.
Mhm. And she's like a different flavor of support from Diane. Because I
Yes.
feel like Diane's more like a listening, like the more quiet, kind of like understanding kind of support. But Princess Carolyn's because of the nature of their work too.
Yes, and
Eh,
they're both not doing
yeah.
this for their own, like, kindness, it's
Uh-huh,
more like
uh-huh.
this is their jobs, right?
Yeah, yeah. Princess
Yeah.
Carolyn's more like pep rally, go, go, go. Also, I got a call, got to go to my next client.
Yeah, it
Bye.
was really stressful to watch it, but at the same time, it felt so exciting and riveting, and, like, it was
Yeah,
like, I can see why
yeah.
she loves this, but also, like, it's very much a draining thing for her, and this is, like, her whole life
Mhm,
pretty much, as we saw here, right?
mhm, mhm.
So what did you think about Vanessa Gecko, who you just realized is Andrew Garfield's agent from that episode?
So Vanessa Gecko, first of all, I feel like they could have made her a gecko since her last name was Gecko. So it's like, why,
I see.
why didn't you
So
just make her a
uh-huh.
gecko?
Uh-huh, you wonder why her name is Gecko. Maybe we'll find that out sometime.
Is this foreshadowing?
Maybe.
Is
I
her
said nothing.
parents a
I've said
gecko?
absolutely nothing.
Okay, if you say she's probably, oh, maybe she's married to a gecko. Oh, well, I guess you won't tell me, but I'm thinking. But
I
anyways.
plead the 5th.
But yeah, she's definitely. I feel like she's almost like the opposite of Princess Carolyn. Like they're both career women, I guess,
Yes?
in the sense that they both work hard for their careers.
Yeah?
Um, but like they were, I feel like they were opposite in the sense that Vanessa Gecko is like married with kids, family, and that's like the very first thing she told Princess Carolyn as well when they met. It's like, oh yeah, like I have like my family. Oh, what about your family? And Princess Carolyn's like, right, I'm single. I don't have time for that. And she's like, oh, right.
Okay, so honestly, the way she said it was not, and like, this is who I am. It's to say to Princess Carolyn, I have this and you don't. I know you don't. And I know you want it.
Yeah, and I hear that a lot.
It
Like,
was made to make Princess Carolyn feel small. So I don't think it's like an
mhm,
opposite. I think that they're very similar, but
mhm.
Vanessa Gecko is maybe a little bit more cutthroat than Princess Carolyn is. Like, we haven't
Ah,
seen, like, Princess Carolyn did try to steal one of her clients, but I do think Vanessa Gecko was way more, or maybe just this time Vanessa Gecko was a little bit more cutthroat in getting clients
I
from her.
think. Well, I think for this episode, it was more to show like how much of a force Vanessa Gecko is with
Yes.
stealing her client and like trying to steal her assistant and
Yeah.
also and all of that
Basically
and
steal her job too, because 'cause they're still
then
trying to figure out
oh
who to
yes.
fire in this,
Yes, see her job, and also I guess with the whole blackmailers, their story finally. I'm guessing they finally ended in this episode.
their story wrapped up, and it was so smooth, so fast. I love how Vanessa Gecko handled it. I also love that Princess Carolyn, when Vanessa Gecko when Vanessa Gecko stole BoJack Horseman, Princess Carolyn was upset. Obviously,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
a client she's had for a very long time.
Mhm.
But she was like, "I know he's a lot of work. He takes up all his time. He's just
Mhm.
spiraling and causing her these problems." And
Mhm.
she was like, "You take it." And Vanessa Gecko was like, "Let me just handle this problem." But she doesn't have the baggage that Princess Carolyn has. Like, I think we should have a
Mhm.
totally different discussion after about Princess Carolyn's relationship with Bojack, but she
Yeah.
stakes her neck out for him, even
Mhm.
though she's not really getting anything out of it. Vanessa Gecko
Mhm.
made the smart career choice, which is like the same thing that her boss, like PC's
Mhm.
boss, also says is he's not making us any money, but he takes up a
Mhm.
lot of our time.
Yeah.
So maybe we shouldn't like we should drop him as a client and it'll save our business because we can focus on other people who are going to help us make money.
Mhm.
And I think that if Princess Carolyn didn't care for Bojack, that was where she would be, but she cares for her clients.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we also don't. Is he? I'm assuming she has other clients too. Like,
Yes, she talks about Kate
okay,
Blanchett in this is also being her client. That's
okay,
the first client that Vanessa Gecko steals. And Kate Blanchett is
yes.
a real actress. So, I like how they've given Princess Carolyn an actual real Hollywood person to, an agent for.
And then she has Todd with his
She
billboard
is Todd.
commercial, I
She also has
guess.
Mr. Peanut Butter.
Oh, she has Mr. Peanut Butter.
Yes.
Okay, so he makes her a lot of money too, I
Yes.
guess. Okay.
But, like, keep in mind that, so she does make some money off the actors as an agent, but she also gets a cut to the company because she doesn't, like, work standalone as an agent. She works
Mhm.
as a
Mhm.
company as an agent. So she's an employee at this company, so she
Okay.
makes a cut, and I assume, like, her management chain or whatever will also take a cut, right? Like, the
Okay.
agent fees are probably, like, the company's fees, and maybe she gets,
Mhm.
like, a part of that or something? I don't know.
Mhm. I'm guessing that because even though her boss tells her that why are you still keeping Bojack here, like he's not worth it, like the upper management would, I'm assuming, have the final say, and the fact that they haven't told her to like let him go, I guess it's kind of shows that how good she is, because she probably does a lot of other things that's like good for the company, so they don't want to like
Yeah.
lose her.
She's able to, like and Mr. Witherspoon, I think, is the high level of the company. Like, he's the one
Okay.
who's not he's, like, the top. That's why
Mhm.
he's trying to figure out who to do, and he's getting nepotism.
Mhm.
He's getting his son to be her interim, even though
Oh my
her son
gosh,
is
that son.
he's kind of incompetent. But, yeah, I think that she is definitely hustling a lot to make up for Bojack, which is, like, a
Uh-huh.
lot for her, and she's
Uh-huh.
still sticking her neck out for him. But she also makes sure to still somehow make something work for Bojack. She got him the
Yes.
bourbon deal, which he's an alcoholic, so
Yes.
it actually kind of fits his image, and then
Mhm.
she even's get making sure this book deal is going through because it's gonna be
Mhm.
some promise that, he's gonna make some money for the company. So he's
Mhm.
still, or she's still hustling for him even though he's not putting in that effort. And in so many ways, it's frustrating because
Mhm.
Princess Carolyn definitely puts her career first.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean Vanessa Gecko doesn't. Like
Mhm.
Vanessa Gecko has a kid. Seems like she's more has kids. Has a husband. She has this glamorous life. They're going to private
Mhm.
school. She seems successful, likable, but she's also successful at her career, and that's
Mhm.
all Princess Carolyn has. And so I think she undermines it, it burns a little bit more. And when
Mm.
she tells her she left work at 8:30, it's like
Mhm.
even her trying to have a little bit of a life again
Mhm.
doesn't like she feels like she can't even get that. She's just all about work and she doesn't have a choice. That made me so
Yeah.
sad when she was in the bathroom and it was like, I lost another client. I actually care about my clients. I
Mhm.
actually care about my job. It's pretty much everything I have. And now the woman who has
Mhm.
everything and more is taking that away from me and has the audacity to now accuse me of not working hard enough.
That's a just want to slap Vanessa Gecko when
Yeah.
that happened.
But, like, then Princess Carolyn gave herself a pep talk.
Yes. Yeah, that was a good comeback. Like
Yeah.
after all of the crazy things that happened in the show, she was able to just turn herself like around, figure out a plot to, I don't know if it's a plot, but figure out a plot to basically get her
Yes.
position back, get her assistant back, get Bojack a deal,
Yes.
to get Kate Blanchett back.
Yes.
Todd even showed up on the billboard, so I'm assuming he's gonna also help make her money somehow, even though
Yeah.
he was going crazy and
Even though he was going crazy, her pep talk to Todd, clearly half-assed one, it worked.
yeah, she's like magic.
So magic, she was able to get everyththing fixed.
Yes.
And even though Bojack left her in the dirt,
Oh yes.
and
Oh my
we
gosh, that
haven't
was.
talked about this, but, like, Princess Car Carolyn's career is the most important thing to her. She really and she
Mhm.
mentions to Bojack in their first episode or something that she wanted kids, and he keeps leaving her in the lurch. Do
Mm.
you remember?
Yeah, that was I remember that because that was a really I remember when I watched that part and I was like, "You are so obnoxious." When I
Yeah,
saw
Bojack
that
it
part.
shows how bad Bojack is, but the more we see about Princess Carolyn's life, the more we
Mhm.
see how much Bojack has ruined it. Not just ruining her career this episode with just he's not he doesn't think about how his actions impact everyone else. He's very
Mhm.
self-involved in that sense,
Mhm.
and Princess Carolyn's career hangs on that. And I was so proud of her when she kept setting boundaries, being like, "No, we cannot. We cannot."
Mhm.
And then Bojack thoughtlessly was like, "No, I'll just take Vanessa Gecko as my agent." And she's like,
Mm.
"Oh my god, great. Thanks. That's what I needed. I don't want to be in a relationship with you." Bojack did not understand. But at the
Mhm.
same time, Princess Carolyn is weak.
Yeah.
I feel like she's feeling that pressure that I definitely can relate to of being like, I'm already so old. Like we tell a lot of women, I know I'm getting back to that topic. I'm always on my soapbox about like women have to like settle and compromise. And I feel like she
Mm.
always compromises for Bojack. She has a soft spot for him. She still sticks
Mhm.
her neck out for him. And she even mentions that every time he goes through a shitty thing, he comes back to her because as part of her job, she's
Mhm.
positive with her pep talks, right?
Mhm.
I have a list of all the bad behavior that Princess Carolyn has sort of Bojack has come back to her for. So he lost the People's Choice Award. He was really sad, and they
Oh
ended up in
yeah.
a relationship again together. He got in jail. He went to jail for for possession of a pound of cocaine.
Mhm.
So Bojack has been in jail before.
Mhm.
He got a hooker pregnant. Came back to Princess Carolyn.
Mhm.
He was sneezing on Marissa Tomei and somehow ended up in the hospital. So, and Princess Carolyn saves him every time, and she
Mhm.
goes back. And even though she was trying to set boundaries, she knows that he keeps hurting her. And I just feel
Mm.
so sad when she was sitting outside the restaurant that BoJack bought for Diane, and then closed the whole restaurant to have a private event with Princess Carolyn. But when they sat down on the curb, I was just like, I understand where Bojack is coming from. Like, I
Mhm.
think he did the right decision to see her,
Mhm.
but I was just heartbroken. I don't know.
Well, so I guess before we get to that part of the end of that, like
Yes.
BoJack and Princess Carolyn fiasco, well, let's wind back a bit. Like, how did you? Well, how? What are your thoughts on how he was, I guess, trying to get back with her throughout the whole episode?
Uh, I felt like that was really just Bojack not processing his emotions, right? In the
Mm.
same sense where like Princess Carolyn actually says that. She's like, "You don't love me. You just do this every time you're sad." Princess Carolyn gives him positive feedback because she's his agent. That's job. We
Mm.
talked about this last time too about how Diane, because it's her job, she's listening to him and he doesn't
Mhm.
form emotional vulnerability. He's never vulnerable with anyone else,
Mhm.
right? So for her job, she's actually vulnerable, and that's she's because of her father passing. He saw a vulnerable moment of Diane,
Mhm.
and he has opened up to her to some degree. So now they've shared this mutual vulnerability. They've created this emotional intimacy, and that's it can lead to something deeper for sure. That's the reason
Mhm.
he likes Diane. With
Mhm.
Princess Carolyn, she puts her neck out for him and cares
Mhm.
for him in a way that I think Bojack doesn't even care about himself.
Mhm.
But he doesn't realize that she's doing this because it's her job and she does have a soft spot for him, but he abuses that all the
Mhm.
time. And it's so childish and it's very much like this is her career, but he's just like,
Mhm.
"You were nice to me, so I'm just going to take advantage of that." And she kind of has to because there's that imbalance of power because he's also her client, but he's also her
Mhm.
friend. It's just I think it's immature Bojack.
Mhm. Yeah, it was definitely like his actions during the entire episode until he finally got that call with Herb. I was just like, "You are so annoying right now. Go away."
Yeah. I can kind of get it though because like he had to process Diane and
Uh-huh.
Mr. Peanut Butter, but I don't like the way BoJack processed it, like,
Uh-huh.
drinking that much, not healthy, his benders were not healthy, and he dragged Todd down with him. Todd, who
Yeah.
was supposed to be the voice of reason, remember we talked about it?
Right. Well, I
Todd
mean,
was his
in that,
designated driver,
yes.
but also was drinking.
Yeah, well, he was the voice of reason in that one episode. I told you, every single episode, he's like the strange. He just changes all the time. So sometimes he's a voice of reason. Sometimes I'm like, who are you even?
He just he kind of, like, fills the persona of the role he's in. Like, he really leaned into his role as the fancy, bourbon drinker. It was very, very funny.
That was very funny.
Yeah. So, Melina, you mentioned PC's comeback in the end. What was your favorite part about that comeback?
Which part? I mean, there's a lot of things I liked. I definitely did like how her getting basically her position and her client back. That she was able to like. I guess she had a long list of connections in the industry, so that she was able to like figure out like, okay, how do I get my client back? Okay,
Yes.
I'll go to like the Raven guy who she kept
You remembered!
calling him Crow by accident.
Yes.
And like getting her telling him or like selling him this story of a movie to make, and then
Yes.
he's like picks it up, and then she's like, yeah, also like let's throw in my client who can be a great like lead
Yes.
as well, and they're like,
Yes, and
duh.
she knew that Kate Blanchett had mentioned this is her favorite book. She used her knowledge about her client and
Uh-huh,
the fact that she
uh-huh.
cared to get to know them to
Yes,
get her back. Yeah.
yes, that was like impressive. I was just like, dang.
Yeah, it shows that Vanessa Gecko maybe is more superficial as an agent, and Princess Carolyn really has that depth. When she's an agent, she's, like,
Yeah.
committing to it.
Well, I feel that for Vanessa Gecko, from what from what little we've seen of hers, like hers is more like a like personal, like more personal kind of relationship, like socially, but not like
Well, I think that even, Princess Carolyn has a friendship with them, like, she's friends with like, maybe with, like, Mr. Peanut Butter and Diane-ish, not really Diane, but, like, Todd. She
hmm,
knows things about them, like, she
hmm,
knew, like, Kate Blanchett's favorite color and her favorite book, and she knows about, like, all these things about you, but you're
hmm,
right, maybe it's less about, like, "Oh, I feel like we really vibe." It's less about, like, "Oh, I just feel like our personalities are good."
hmm,
She's more like, "I want to get to know you so that I can
hmm.
properly be your agent."
Not manipulative, I, but like
Why are we saying that all the women I like, Melina, are manipulative in this
it's
show?
the thing is
I'm
it's
taking
not
offense.
manipulative. That's not the word. Like it's
I think it's strategic. I think that's a
strategic.
much more
That's
positive
what, yes,
adjective.
strategic.
Women who
That's
are
the word.
strategic and in
Yes,
charge of getting the job done. I love how that's what Diane did
yes.
when she was giving, like, she's like, this is my job. I need to get Bojack to
Mhm,
open up. I'm going to tell him something that's going to help him feel more comfortable to open up. That's
mhm.
strategic. That
Yes,
is, it's really active. It's proactive.
yes,
It's taking
yes,
initiative. In that
yes.
same sense, those set of adjectives, I think, describe Princess Carolyn.
Yeah, strategic is the word. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is I'm looking
It, like,
for.
turned up to a notch. Like, Princess Carolyn's
Mhm,
like, "Go, go, go."
mhm.
Yeah,
After she like hit rock bottom, and it's like, nope, bam, magic lamp, phew, turn
exactly.
everything around.
So, I wanted to, before we get on from this, ask you,
Uh
who is
huh.
your favorite character now, Melina? I don't know if that's changed. I know you said you didn't have any favorite characters, but has this episode changed that?
Eh, hmm. Well, in this episode, the only thing we really see
Mhm.
is Princess Carolyn,
Mhm.
because Bojack just became more annoying in this episode.
Okay, so what did you think of Princess Carolyn?
Well, we got to see like I definitely like that we got to see her strategy, her strategic like thinking is one of the things that stood out in this episode. Like before, like we knew she was hardworking and
Mhm.
we knew she was very career oriented,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. And like we knew that when there's a business opportunity, she can jump on it.
Yes.
Like in the last episode with the David Borealis
Oh, the
museum.
David Boreanaz house.
Borealis, yes.
Yeah, that yeah.
But I don't think we really got to see how much of it is until this episode, and how she adapts so well to change. Like there's a sudden merger and all of these things are changing going on. How she just handles that. But does that make her my favorite character? I don't know. Like,
Okay, we have a lot more show. We have a lot more episodes. So we'll see, Melina, if I can convince you to get on the PC bandwagon. I
okay.
think we should make shirts. I think we should I thought you liked cats, but clearly that was all a lie, Melina, so I mean, we
I
can
mean, I like cats that go meow.
No, it's fine, just keep breaking my heart. You're just clearly another Bojack. I know, I feel like that was harsh, Melina. You are not obnoxious as Bojack. You're wonderful and sweet. But that's, like, too mean. I can't even go there. Um,
I think if we call anyone a Bojack, that'd be extremely insulting.
oh, yeah. Well, but so far, who knows? Maybe he'll redeem himself, Melina. You don't know.
We'll see.
I did wanna point out the animal catches this episode.
Okay.
The first one, with, like, a 21:35 minutes left, 20 minutes, 35 seconds left in the show. The cow, you noticed that, right?
Yes, that was.
Oh my god, she milked her breast to serve milk to PC. There were so many things weird about this because 1, udders are not in that location on the cow, but I guess on cow person, they're in the other they're, like, in a different you know what I they're in
Yeah.
a different spot, so I was like, "This is weird." Okay, it's wrong. And then number 2, most cats are actually lactose intolerant.
Wait, then why did they say that cats like milk?
That's a myth, you're not supposed to serve them milk. Most adult cats will actually not be able to consume it.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah.
So that's a fun, PSA. Please be careful when you're feeding your cats, milk. They can't always take it, but Princess Carolyn clearly is not that. Lenny Turtletop, did you notice anything about him?
He was very slow.
Yeah, I think they did that on purpose. I didn't actually notice in the beginning until they were doing their phone call,
Mm.
and then on the phone call, they cut between Princess Carolyn walking
Mhm.
and Lenny, and Princess Carolyn is, like, so fast. And Lenny, in contrast, I was like, "Oh, wow, he is, he's slow. I guess he's a turtle."
I've just thought that was just like it because he was old, but I guess not.
Yeah, I think it's just he's a turtle or maybe turtle oldness, who
I
knows.
don't know.
Did you notice what was on Princess Carolyn's desk when she was sharing it with Vanessa Gecko?
Yeah, she was like playing with it. Or did she play with it?
Yes!
Yes, she
It
did.
was a scratching
Yes.
post. I was thinking of getting that one for my cat, but I got a little tower set that he can, like, sit on top. It's fun. And then there's obviously, like, I'm sure you caught all the things with Charlie.
Oh, with the hands and getting
Sticky
sticky
hands,
on
yeah.
everything. That's
Yeah, and
kind of
then the
suck.
armadillo that Bojack when he braked, he almost hit that armadillo person and they rolled into a ball. That was kinda cute.
Yes.
But all those, I think, especially because this episode had so much packed into it,
Mhm.
which is really just a testament. I think the way they filmed it also, they just had so many cutscenes because Princess Carolyn's life is just
Mhm.
so
Fast going.
yeah. She changed so many scenes, so I think that there was just more room for them to throw in random things.
Except it's like because it's moving so fast, it's like I see it, but I don't have time to process this animal because Princess Karen has something else that's already going on.
Yeah, she's, like, already left the scene, she's already doing something else, like, so much is happening with her and
Yeah.
her life, that it's kind of hard, and I think that it just, like, I felt so much for her in this episode. This is when I fell in love with her, so I'm so sad, Melina, that you did not fall in love with her, but I will forgive you, it's fine.
Actually, I feel like it would be interesting if we had a show like called Princess Carolyn with her as a main character,
Yes,
and then
but I do think that so I'll say this about BoJack Horseman.
mhm,
You know how we had a scene or we had an episode that was all about Princess
mhm,
Carolyn, and I think this episode is also from her perspective.
mhm,
That episode we had of
mm.
Todd, so far, it wasn't from his perspective. It was still Bojack's perspective, but an episode featured about Todd's
Oh,
goals.
right.
And
Okay.
then Diane's episode was kind of in split between Diane and Bojack's
Mhm. Mhm.
perspectives. But this is the first true episode where Bojack has sort of been the side character,
Mhm.
even though his side character actions impact Princess Carolyn's life.
Mhm.
And this is not a spoiler, but they definitely, as the show goes on, they do take some time to focus on the side characters. So there'll be more episodes like this one where Princess Carolyn is the main subject.
Okay.
And so it's her perspective, not just her being the main subject like it was in Todd's rock opera episode.
Okay. Okay. That'd be good, cause I'll be interested in seeing more of Todd's and Dan's and even Mr. Peanut Butter. Like perspective. I wonder what that's gonna
Yeah.
be like. If it's just gonna be like, ooh, ball, or is it gonna be like actually
You're so
very
rude. Are you saying Mr. Peanut Butter doesn't have anything else in his mind except tennis
Well, I
balls?
have after the last episode where we found out he could actually be jealous and have negative emotion, I'm starting to think,
Yes. Yeah.
what is this
Yeah, so
mysterious dog?
the other thing is you now know that you now know that Diane and Mr. Peanut Butter's engagement has at least been confirmed for 2 weeks
Yes.
now. So do you think the wedding is still gonna happen?
I mean, people can be engaged and then they get married a year later, so and a lot of things can happen in a year, so it could still break off.
True, true. You're right. You're right. They could still work it out. And then what do you think happened in Malibu?
Yeah, so I'm guessing they'll come back into it in the next episode, but I'm guessing that he met Herb and Diane was also in the car with him.
Yeah, why do you think Diane was in the car?
So I'm guessing that he met Herb. I forget if Herb was in Malibu or not, but I'm guessing he met Herb and they had like
Herb was in Malibu. Yeah, Herb was in Malibu.
okay.
So Diane was in the car, which is weird. Bojack was being kind of standoffish,
Yeah.
so we don't know what happened.
I feel that whatever there was already some past thing. Not sure what the past thing was with Herb and Bojack, but there was, and then that's what Herb was also like kind of upset when he was calling.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that Bojack tried to remedy their relationship, did not turn out well, or Herb died because he had cancer.
that's also
Or
true.
he
And the
killed
way he
Herb.
said, "Oh, interesting. Would if he killed Herb, would you still consider Bojack a good person?"
I feel that he didn't. I feel like if he did kill Herb, he would have done it unintentionally.
I see. I see.
Like
Intent is
he
key.
may have. I don't know about good or bad, but I know that what his actions may have led to the murder of Herb. I don't know if in this show they would actually show a main character murdering another character, but who knows?
But who knows? Who
um,
knows?
but something happened that caused I'm guessing that caused a relationship to not be able to get fixed, and then so he's depressed. Bojack is depressed, and he called the one person he felt he could trust, which was not Princess Carolyn, but it was Diane, and
I see.
her being already like conflicted with like Mr. Peanut Butter not really understanding her as a person and
Yep.
she having to do this ghostwriting thing for Bojack and also
Bojack,
he kind of did help her out in her like her time of need about her
family.
family like
Yeah.
that's why she also tried to go and support him but it's also kind of weird going on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a complicated sea. So, Melina, you mentioned in the beginning that you wouldn't have continued watching this after episode 1
Uh-huh.
if I hadn't set this up.
Uh-huh.
My real question is, do you
Uh-huh.
want to continue watching episode 8?
I want, dude, this was a freaking cliffhanger. Of course I want to know what happened. This is like one of the most cliffhangy episodes so far.
Okay, good. I've hooked you in. I've let you sink your teeth in, and I've made you addicted to it. You fall in for my trap.
Well, it's also because the main guy,
Yeah.
Bojack, is not as obnoxious as he was. If he was completely like that,
I don't think his obnoxiousness has
if he,
reduced. In this
yeah.
episode, frankly, is he not more
Yeah,
obnoxious?
definitely that part of it was a huge turnoff, and I was kind of like, do I need to
Yes.
watch you again? Like,
So it helped that Princess Carolyn was the feature.
yes, because if he was like that the whole episode, I'd be like, man, do I really want to watch the next episode? Kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know if it makes sense to ask about Bojack so much this episode, but I'll still ask, is Bojack good or bad to you?
Well, I mean, I this episode he was annoying. Like I can see why he did what he did because he had like this whole rebound thing. And it's like, oh, it's a
Yes.
convenient. Like my ex is convenient. Oh, a lot of people broke up with my partner. I'm gonna go to my ex. Oh, help me out, kind of
Yeah, like
thing.
rebounding your ex is pretty common. I've heard that it's like I don't know if this is actually true or not. Like sometimes it's not good to do it. I've heard mixed things saying like, "Oh, it's good" or "It's not good," and I know a lot of people who have done it. I do think in the case of BoJack and Princess
Yeah,
Carolyn, it's not good
no,
for either of them,
no.
and poor Princess Carolyn.
Yeah, no. They're way too. They have way too different values, way too different lives, focuses,
Yes.
everything. Yeah, no.
Hmm.
But in terms of good or bad, yeah, I don't think this episode really contributed anything to his good or bad. It only just
Yeah,
showed.
even him kind of like I guess he wasn't planning to ruin Princess Carolyn's career. He's not like there's not really malintent, so it's not really bad. It's not good. So he's still neutral. He could still redeem himself more, but he has to put in some work.
Yeah, but we do need to know what happened in Malibu.
Yes, we need to know what happened in Malibu. Since Melina is dying to watch episode 8, we'll definitely give you an update. It's such a cliffhanger, right, Melina? I bet this next episode we're just gonna completely not touch any of these
I
topics, right?
swear.
We're just gonna go and it's gonna be like a back in time episode, right?
Oh my gosh, if this
That'll
is
make you
a
happy.
filler like summary episode, I'm going to be like, let's just skip this and go straight to episode 9. Let's just talk about this in like 1 minute and then go move on.
Let's find out if next episode is going to torture Melina. So tune in, find out.
Bye.
Bye. Yakkin About Bojack is produced, recorded, and edited by Melina and Aditi. Music is by Podcast Co.'s royalty-free album Keep Calm and Podcast, the song One Fine Day. All thoughts in this podcast are personal opinions. If you or someone you know is experiencing issues with addiction, substance abuse, or any of the topics mentioned in this episode, please know there is hope and seek professional help.